Hey, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever thought, is this quarter in my pocket worth more than 25 cents? Stick around because today, we're diving into the story of the 1776 to 1976 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Yes, the bicentennial quarter, the one with the drummer boy on the back. It's not just a quarter, it's a little piece of history. And if you've got one of these lying around, you might just have a small fortune, or, let's be real, a cheeseburger. But hey, we're here to find out. In 1976, America turned 200 years old, and the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate by giving George Washington a little company, a colonial drummer on the reverse side. These quarters were minted in 1975 and 1976 and came with either no mint mark, D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Fun fact, no quarters were dated 1975. If you have one that says 1975, check your glasses, or your time machine. Now, the Denver Mint, responsible for the D mark, cranked out 809 million of these babies. That's a lot of drum solos. So, are they rare? Not really. But are they valuable? Well, let's break it down. For starters, most circulated 1776 to 1976 D quarters are worth about 25 cents. Shocking, I know. But wait, before you go tossing them back into the soda machine, here's the good part: if your quarter is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could fetch between $5 and $10. And if you have one graded by a professional service at MS 67 or higher, we're talking $100 or more. The highest grade ever sold was MS 68, which went for over $6,000 at auction. Imagine finding that in your couch cushions, and let's not forget about errors. Everyone loves a good mistake, right? Well, the Mint had a few slip-ups. Look out for off-center strikes, double die errors, or even quarters struck on the wrong planchet. These can skyrocket your quarter's value into the hundreds, even thousands of dollars. True story, a few years ago, I found one of these bicentennial quarters in my dad's old coin jar. I thought, jackpot. Retirement, here I come. I rushed to look it up, only to find out it was worth, wait for it, a crisp 25 cents. But hey, it was a cool coin, and now I keep it as a reminder of my humble beginnings as a coin hunter. But here's the kicker: later, I stumbled upon another one in mint condition at a flea market. I paid $1 for it, sent it off for grading, and it came back MS 66. Guess what? It sold for $85. Moral of the story: never underestimate what a little research and effort can do. You'd be surprised what slips into circulation. Look for uncirculated rolls. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight at coin shops or online. Invest in a magnifying glass. Your eyes are good, but not that good. Get it graded. If you think you have a gem, spend a little on professional grading. It's worth it. So, whether you're sifting through your pocket change or hitting up grandma's coin jar, keep an eye out for these bicentennial quarters. They might not all be worth a fortune, but they're a piece of history, and sometimes, they surprise you. Ever wonder if the humble quarter sitting in your car's cup holder could be worth more than a gumball machine prize? Today, we're diving into a coin you might have overlooked, the 1983 P Mint Mark Washington quarter. Spoiler alert, you might want to check your piggy bank after this. Last week, I was sorting through an old jar of coins. You know, the one every house has but no one claims responsibility for. Boom, I stumbled upon a 1983 P quarter. And I thought, could this be my retirement fund? Or is it just 25 cents? Let's find out together. So, what's the deal with the 1983 P Mint Mark Washington quarter? First, a little history. Back in 1983, the U.S. Mint didn't release mint sets. That means fewer pristine coins from that year are floating around today. Collectors love a good challenge, so they're snapping these quarters up like it's Black Friday at the Mint. Here's what makes it valuable. If your quarter is in great condition, what we call mint state in the coin world, it could be worth anywhere from a few bucks to over $50. Imagine turning a quarter into 50 bucks. That's like trading a slice of pizza for an all-you-can-eat buffet. Condition is key, though. If your coin looks like it survived a rock concert in someone's pocket, it's probably just worth its face value. But if it's shiny, with sharp details, and has no major scratches, you're in business. And keep an eye out for errors. Some 1983p quarters have doubling on the lettering or other funky mint mistakes. Those coins. They're the celebrities of the quarter world. Collectors pay top dollar for them, sometimes hundreds. Grab a magnifying glass. Not only does it make you look like a detective, but it helps you spot those tiny details that could mean big bucks. And please, don't clean your coins. You might think you're helping, but to a collector, that's like taking a classic car to a cheap car wash. So, the next time you're digging for laundry quarters or buying a soda, take a second look. That 1983p mint Mark Washington quarter could be worth way more than you think, and hey, if you've got a stash of old coins, now's the perfect time to check them out. Who knows? You could find a hidden treasure, or at least a good story to tell at your next family dinner. Do you have a jar of old coins sitting in the back of a closet, waiting to reveal its secrets? What if I told you there could be a shiny little jackpot hiding in plain sight? That's right, today we're talking about the 1989p mint Mark Washington quarter, and why you should take a closer look before you spend it on vending machine snacks. Spoiler alert, it could be worth way more than 25 cents. Stick around, because we're diving into what makes this coin special, how much it's worth today, and a few tips on spotting valuable coins in your spare change. First, a little backstory. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, and by 1989, these coins were basically everywhere, like that one song on the radio you can't escape. The P mint mark means this coin was minted in Philadelphia. Now, while most of these quarters are pretty ordinary, a few have quirks that collectors go absolutely wild for. Think of them as the rare misprints in the world of coins, basically the coin version of a typo, but worth money. So, what are we looking for here? There are three key things that can boost the value of a 1989p quarter. A coin's condition is like its resume. If your 1989p quarter looks fresh out of the mint, no scratches, dents, or signs of heavy circulation, you're in luck. Coins in mint state condition can fetch a decent price. Error coins are like the unicorns of the numismatic world. For the 1989p quarter, you might want to check for die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling, where parts of the design appear duplicated. These little oopsies make a coin far more valuable. Popularity with collectors. Sometimes, collectors just develop a thing for certain coins. The 1989p isn't the most famous quarter out there, but it's still sought after, especially if it has unique features. Now for the juicy part, how much is it worth? A regular 1989p quarter in circulated condition is still just worth its face value, 25 cents. But, and it's a big but, if you've got one in mint state condition, it could be worth a few bucks, often ranging from $5 to $20 depending on the grade. And if you're lucky enough to spot an error coin, those can go for $50, $100, or even more at auctions. Not bad for something you might have found under your couch cushions, right? A few months ago, I was helping my friend clean out her car, you know, the place where coins go to hibernate. Among the dust and forgotten fast food receipts, we found a super shiny 1989p quarter. She was about to toss it in a coin jar, but I stopped her like she was about to commit a crime. Turns out, it wasn't a jackpot coin, but it did inspire her to start checking her change. A few weeks later, she found an error coin from another year and sold it for $150. Not bad for a little detective work. So, the next time you're rummaging through your pocket change, take a closer look. That plain old 1989p Washington quarter might just be a hidden treasure. And if not, hey, at least you've got a cool story to tell. When's the last time you actually looked at the change jingling in your pocket? No, I'm not talking about sniffing out lunch money for Taco Tuesday. I mean really looked at it. Because today, we're diving into the surprisingly interesting world of the 1995 Washington quarter. Yep, that unassuming little coin could be worth way more than 25 cents. Stick around, and I'll tell you exactly why. Spoiler, you might be sitting on treasure, and it's not buried, it's jingling. Let's start with the basics. The 1995 Washington quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark. Quick pro tip, you'll find the mint mark on the front of the coin, right next to George Washington. Check your quarters later, you'll look like a total coin pro doing it. Now, here's the kicker, most 1995 quarters are worth 25 cents. Big surprise, right? But, and this is a big but, some rare variations and conditions can make collectors' eyes light up like they just found a mint condition Charizard card. Condition: if your quarter looks like it just came out of a coin wrapper, no scratches, no smudges, it might be considered mint state. A flawless 1995 can fetch $15 to $20 at auctions. Doesn't sound like retirement money, but hey, it's 80 times its face value. Errors: here's where things get exciting. Some 1995 quarters have minting errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or even a missing clad layer. These quirks turn a regular coin into a collector's dream. An error coin could sell for $100 or more. Oh, and let me share a quick story. Last year, I was at my cousin's barbecue, classic potato salad, overcooked burgers, the works. Someone handed me change for a soda, and, bam, a shiny 1995 quarter caught my eye. I took it home, popped it under a magnifying glass, and it was just a regular quarter. But the point is, you never know until you check, and for those of you wondering, the current market for collectible coins is pretty hot. People are hunting for unique pieces, so if you've got something rare, this is a great time to cash in. Check online auction sites like eBay or visit local coin shops to get your coin appraised. Even better, join a coin collector group. They're nerdy, yes, but they're your people now. Alright, friends, now you've got the inside scoop on the 1995 Washington quarter. Who knew that little piece of change could hold such hidden potential? Next time you're rummaging through your car cup holder or that jar labeled Vegas Fund, take a closer look. Your next quarter might be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. 1997 Washington quarter in your pocket, and now you're wondering if it's worth more than 25 cents. Well, spoiler alert, it could be, but the odds aren't exactly in your favor. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coins, and we're going to uncover whether your 1997 mint mark Washington quarter is hiding a secret treasure or just hanging out as pocket change. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about what makes a coin valuable. It's not just about age, folks. You could find a coin from the 1800s and it might only be worth $1, while a modern one could be worth hundreds, if it has the right features. And this, my friends, is where the 1997 Washington quarter comes in. The 1997 mint mark stands for Denver, which is where the US Mint made these coins. Now, these were minted in huge numbers, about 1.5 billion of them. So, as you might imagine, that's a lot of quarters. If you're holding one right now, don't get too excited, it's probably worth just 25 cents. But, if you're sitting there thinking, what about errors or rare varieties, then ding ding ding, you're onto something. There's always a chance that your coin could have a rare minting error that might make it worth more than face value. And trust me, these error coins are where things get really fun. For example, some 1997 quarters have been found with misstrikes, which means part of the design might be slightly off-center. While these aren't super common, they can push the value up to around 50 cents or even a couple bucks depending on the severity of the error. Not a jackpot, but hey, it's more than 25 cents, right? I know, you're thinking, alright, but why bother with a quarter when I could just grab a snack for 25 cents? Well, here's the thing, sometimes, the hunt for the rare stuff is what makes collecting coins fun. It's a little like going to a thrift store, hoping to find that vintage jacket. Sometimes, it's just a bunch of junk, but sometimes, you get lucky. I had my own lucky find moment a few years ago. I was going through a jar of change that had been sitting in my kitchen for months, maybe even years, and I pulled out a coin that looked just like any other. I almost tossed it back in, but something told me to hold on to it. Turns out, it was a rare 1998 DYAM penny. Now, that was a real treasure. I flipped that coin for over $100 online. So, I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes these quarters can surprise you if you're paying attention. Okay, now let's talk about the current market value for your typical 1997 D Washington quarter. As of now, it's generally valued around 25 cents, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the condition. Coins in the circulated condition won't usually fetch a premium. But if yours is in uncirculated condition, you know, shiny and fresh like it just came from the mint, it could go for a couple of bucks. But again, don't expect it to pay your rent. Now, before you start pulling out every quarter in your change jar and squinting at it like a detective, remember, condition is key. If your 1997 D quarter looks worn, scratched, or has seen a lot of action, it's probably not going to be worth more than what it says on the coin. If it's mint condition though, that's where things get interesting. So, what's the takeaway here? If you've got a 1997 D Washington quarter, don't go running to your local coin dealer just yet. The chances of striking gold are slim, but if you find a mint error or it's in really good shape, you might just have a little extra pocket change to add to your collection. Coin collecting is all about patience, and who knows? That next quarter you find could be worth a lot more than you think. If you're new to this, make sure to keep an eye out for mint errors, unusual wear patterns, or anything that looks a little off. If you liked this video and want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'll be sharing even more coin hunting tips in future videos, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. So go ahead, hit that bell notification, and let's keep searching for treasure together. Until next time, keep those quarters shiny and your curiosity even shinier. What if I told you that pocket change could change your life? Okay, maybe not buy a mansion life, but what if the nickel sitting in your drawer could be worth more than 5 cents? Today, we're talking about the 1961 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, and trust me, this little guy has a lot more going on than you'd think. Hey everyone, welcome back to Coin Hustle, where we make sense out of sense. Hit that like button and let's dive into whether this 1961 nickel can make you a coin collector millionaire, or at least cover your next coffee run. First off, let's break it down. The 1961 Jefferson nickel is super common, especially without a mint mark. No mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. These were cranked out by the millions, literally 73 million. So, your odds of finding one? Pretty good. The odds of it being super valuable? Let's dig deeper. There are 3 factors that determine if your nickel is just loose change or a mini gold mine: condition, rarity, and errors. Condition first, this is where it gets spicy. If your 1961 nickel looks like it went through 10 kids' piggy banks and survived the dryer, well, sorry, it's still worth 5 cents. But a coin in mint state, meaning shiny and pristine, can fetch $10 to $15 at auction. Imagine turning 5 cents into 15 bucks. That's a 30,000% profit. Better than my crypto investments. But wait, errors. This is where things get interesting. Coin errors are like typos in metal. The 1961 nickel has some cool ones: off-center strikes, die cracks, even double dies. An error coin can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So if your nickel looks weird, don't dismiss it, it could be quirky and valuable. Quick story, a couple of years ago, I found a nickel that was so beat up, I almost tossed it. But something told me to hold on to it. I sent it to be graded, fingers crossed, and guess what? It was a minor error coin worth $200. Not life-changing, but hey, it covered a month of groceries. Now I check every coin like a treasure hunter. So here's your homework: go through your change jar. Inspect those nickels. If you see a 1961 with no mint mark, check its condition and look for errors. And get yourself a magnifying glass. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Alright, coin fam, that's the scoop on the 1961 no mint mark Jefferson nickel. Is it rare? Nah. Is it valuable? Potentially, if it's in killer condition or has a funky error. So start digging through those pockets, and who knows, you might find the next big treasure. Have you ever heard of a nickel that might just be worth more than 5 cents? Yep, you heard me right, your pocket change might be hiding a little jackpot. Today, we're talking about the 1981 P. Jefferson nickel. Not just any nickel, folks, this one has a bit of mystery, some history, and maybe, just maybe, a few dollars waiting for you. Stick around, because I'm diving into what makes this coin special, its current market value, and a little trick to spot one if you're a beginner like I was when I started coin collecting. Oh, and trust me, I've got a story that'll make you laugh and cry about my first nickel hunt. Let's get into it. 5:56 p.m. 12/11/2024. Okay, so what's the deal with the 1981 P. Jefferson nickel? For starters, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this bad boy was made. In 1981, Philadelphia cranked out over 600 million of these nickels. That's right, this coin isn't exactly rare, but rarity isn't the whole story when it comes to value. Now, here's the juicy bit: what makes these nickels special are two things: condition and errors. A pristine, uncirculated 1981 P. Jefferson nickel, also called an MS-65 or higher by grading standards, can sell for $10 to $50. Yeah, that's like turning 5 cents into $50. Not too shabby, right? And then there are the error coins. Picture this: the mint machines had a bad day, and bam, out pops a nickel with a weird double die, off-center strike, or a missing step detail on Monticello's staircase. Collectors love this stuff. I saw one on eBay recently going for over $100. Here's where I got hooked. A few years ago, I decided to check out my piggy bank. Spoiler alert, it wasn't to save money. I was just bored during quarantine. I found a 1981 nickel, no mint mark, and for 5 minutes, I thought I was rich. Turns out, I didn't have a clue about grading or what a mint mark even was. Yep, I was that person. But hey, we all start somewhere. So, what's the takeaway? The 1981 P. Jefferson nickel might not make you a millionaire, but it's proof that there's value in the little things, literally. Start checking your change, look for that P mint mark, and if you find one that looks flawless, you might just have a small fortune in your hands. Have you ever felt like your loose change might be worth more than the spare coffee you're saving up for? Well, guess what? Today, we're diving into the world of the 1985 P mint mark Jefferson nickel. Yes, that humble little coin sitting in your jar could be worth way more than just 5 cents. Stick around because you're about to find out if you've been casually tossing away a mini jackpot. Spoiler alert, you'll never look at nickels the same way again. Alright, let's break it down. The 1985 P. Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P mint mark on the side. Over 647 million of these bad boys were made, which sounds like a lot, right? But here's where things get interesting: not all nickels are created equal. See, most of these nickels were jingling around in pockets, getting scratched up, and let's be real, probably ended up stuck in a couch somewhere. But if you've got a 1985 P. Jefferson nickel in pristine condition, what coin collectors call mint state, you're in for a treat. Mint state coins are graded on a scale from 60 to 70. And here's the kicker: a top-rated MS-67 1985 P nickel can sell for up to $200. Imagine that, 5 cents turning into $200. That's like finding a gourmet meal in a vending machine. Now, if your coin isn't in perfect condition, don't sweat it. Even moderately good nickels can fetch $10 to $20. It's still a solid upgrade from a soda machine trade. Here's a tip: flip your coin over and check the steps on Monticello, that's the building on the back. Coin nerds, I mean collectors, get all excited over nickels with sharp, full steps. That detail can jack up the value. Pro tip: if you're squinting harder than your grandma reading a text message, just invest in a magnifying glass. Your eyes will thank you. Fun fact: I once found a nickel that looked promising in my childhood piggy bank. I got so excited, I ran to get it appraised, only to find out it was just super shiny. But hey, no regrets, it taught me to keep an eye out. So there you have it, folks. The 1985 Jefferson nickel might be the coin you've been flipping and forgetting, but it could also be a hidden gem in your collection. Next time you're counting change, take a closer look. You never know when 5 cents might turn into a small fortune. Got any spare nickels lying around in your couch cushions? Well, you might want to check again, because there's one from 1988 you might just want to hang on to. That's right, today we're diving into the 1988 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. And let me tell you, this little nickel might just be worth more than you think. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about its value and why you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. No metal detector required. Trust me, you're going to want to watch this, unless you're a fan of throwing money away. Alright, let's start with a quick refresher, the 1988 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. What's so special about it? Well, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where the coin was made. And if you're wondering, hey, wasn't that just a regular nickel? You'd be right, it was. But the value of the 1988 while not going to make you a millionaire, might still surprise you when you take it to a coin shop. Now, here's the thing: most of the time, your average 1988 Jefferson nickel isn't worth much more than 5 cents. But don't click off just yet. There's more to it. There are some rare, high-grade versions out there that can fetch a little more on the market. I'm talking about coins in mint condition, like MS-65 or higher, which can go for anywhere between $3 to $5. Yeah, that's right, a shiny, crisp nickel that's survived all these years in great shape can sell for a few bucks more than what you paid for it. Now, I know what you're thinking: well, it's still not a fortune. And you're not wrong. But hey, every dollar counts, right? It's like finding that random dollar bill in your pocket that you forgot was there. But way cooler, let me tell you a little story. One time I found a 1988 nickel just sitting there on the ground while I was out running errands. I picked it up, thinking it was just another regular coin. I tossed it into my jar of loose change, and for months, I didn't give it a second thought. Then, one day, I got curious and looked it up. I was surprised to find out that, in mint condition, this little guy could be worth a couple of bucks. Moral of the story: don't overlook your change. You never know when you're going to find a coin that's a little more valuable than its face value. But let's be real, the 1988 nickel isn't going to make you rich. If you're looking for a big payout, this might not be your golden ticket. However, there's a sweet spot for collectors who love finding those underappreciated gems. You know, the ones you can find with just a bit of patience and a good eye. So, it's all about condition, my friends. Now, let's talk about why it's a little tricky to find one that's in perfect condition. It's not like these coins were minted with gold or anything. They were mass-produced and spent by people who probably didn't give a second thought to how the nickel would look decades later. So, if you're lucky enough to find one that's practically flawless, congratulations, you've got yourself a pretty neat little coin. Alright, so there you have it. The 1988 Jefferson nickel might not be a game changer, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for, especially if you're into coin collecting or just love finding hidden gems. It's all about the condition and those rare, high-quality coins that are out there. Before you go, though, I want to make sure you don't miss any more tips and tricks on coins that could be worth more than you think. So, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join the community of fellow coin enthusiasts. I'll keep the info coming, so you can keep cashing in on those coins. Alright, folks. This little guy might not look like much, but it could be hiding a minty secret that's worth more than you think. We're talking about the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel. Yeah, that shiny nickel you toss in your pocket or forget about in your couch cushions could actually be worth more than 5 cents. So, stick around as we uncover what makes this coin special, and why you should check your change jar for one of these. Okay, let's dive into it. So, what makes the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel stand out? Well, first off, the P mint mark. You know, the one that stands for Philadelphia? Yeah, that's where this particular nickel was minted. Now, don't get all excited thinking this is gonna be the next rare coin that buys you a yacht, but hang on, it might just put a little extra jingle in your pocket. Now, let's be real, most of these 1989 P nickels are worth exactly 5 cents. Shocker, right? But hold on, because not all of them are created equal. There are a few things that could make your 1989 P worth more than its face value, and if you're one of those folks who love the hunt for hidden treasure in your spare change, then you're in for a treat. First thing you'll want to check is the condition of your coin. If it's shiny, spotless, and looks like it was just made yesterday, well, that's a good start. Coins in excellent condition are always more desirable to collectors, because they're harder to find than a pristine pair of socks after laundry day. But if your 1989 P nickel is covered in wear and tear like a worn-out pair of shoes, don't lose hope just yet. Coins in average condition are still worth something, especially if they're part of a collector's set. We're talking a range of prices here, anywhere from a couple of cents to a few bucks, depending on how rare the coin is in that condition. Now, let's talk about the big money scenarios, if you're lucky enough to have one. The super rare versions of this coin are those with errors, like a double die or a die crack. These types of coins can command higher prices because collectors go wild for that stuff. We're talking anywhere from $10 to $30 on the high end, and that's if you find an error that's in fantastic condition. And speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I found a 1989 P. Jefferson nickel in my spare change, and I thought, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm about to get rich. So, naturally, I did what any self-respecting coin collector would do. I ran to my laptop and Googled the heck out of it. And guess what? It was just a regular nickel. But here's the thing, even though it wasn't worth thousands, I still felt like I'd just uncovered a hidden gem. And hey, the hunt is half the fun, right? So, moral of the story? Even if you don't strike it big with a 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, the thrill of the chase is what keeps us coming back for more. Plus, it's always fun to tell people you're looking for coins worth way more than 5 cents. Alright, so where does this leave us? If you've got a 1989 P. Jefferson nickel lying around, don't toss it out just yet. Take a closer look. Condition matters, and you might just have a rare one hiding in your collection, or at least one that'll make you feel like a coin hunting champ. If you're really serious about finding coins worth money, make sure to keep an eye on your change jar, check your wallet, and, of course, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started with these tips and strategies, and I've got a whole lot more coin knowledge to share with you. Well, if you've got a 1996 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark lying around, you might just be in for a nice little surprise. Stay tuned, because today we're talking about this little coin that could actually pack more value than you'd expect. And trust me, you're gonna want to know if you've got one of these in your pocket. Before we dive in, if you're ready to turn those dusty old coins into cash, hit that subscribe button because we've got more coin tips coming your way. So, let's get into it. The 1996 D. Jefferson nickel. Sounds like just another coin, right? I mean, it's got the same old Jefferson profile, the same classic, "In God We Trust," and the same 5-cent value. But don't be fooled, my friends, this coin has a little trick up its sleeve. Now, most of us probably just use these nickels to buy a pack of gum or, well, okay, let's be real, stick them in the "I'll deal with it later" jar. But when it comes to the 1996 D, there are a few things that make it stand out. You see, in 1996, the US Mint made a few changes to the production process. The D Mint mark, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver, was a part of a batch that some collectors have started to take an interest in. Why? Well, it turns out that there's a relatively low mintage of these nickels compared to other years. You know what that means, right? Less supply, higher demand, and potentially more value. But here's the kicker, this coin won't just land you a pile of cash right off the bat. To get top dollar, you've got to make sure it's in good condition. I mean, a coin that's been through the washing machine or buried in the backyard isn't going to score you big bucks. You want one that's in uncirculated condition, or at least has some sharp features and details still visible. Trust me, you don't want a nickel that looks like it's been through a 5-year-long road trip. So, what's the value? A 1996 D Jefferson nickel in decent condition might be worth around 25 to 50 cents. But in uncirculated condition? We're talking anywhere from a couple of bucks to up to $10 or more, depending on the grade and demand. Sounds pretty sweet for a coin that's only worth 5 cents at face value, right? Now, how do you know if your 1996 D is in mint condition? Well, it all comes down to grading. You'll hear terms like MS-65, which stands for mint state, and those numbers give you an idea of how crisp and clean your coin is. A higher number means better quality. But don't worry, you don't have to be a professional coin grader to spot a good one, just make sure it hasn't been badly scratched or dinged up. Here's a funny story. I remember when I first started collecting coins, I thought every coin was worth a fortune. I'd pull out my trusty magnifying glass, examine every Lincoln cent, every Buffalo nickel, nothing was safe from my scrutiny. One day, I found what I thought was an absolute treasure, a 1996 D Jefferson nickel that looked perfect. I got all excited, thinking I had struck gold. I rushed to my local coin shop, ready to retire early, only for the guy behind the counter to glance at it and say, "Nice try, but it's only worth a couple of bucks at most." And you know what? He was right. But it was still a cool find, and I learned a lot about what makes a coin truly valuable. So, before you start planning your vacation to the Bahamas with your newfound fortune, keep in mind that these coins aren't necessarily going to make you rich overnight. But it's always fun to check your change and see if you have a hidden gem, or at least a coin that could put a little extra cash in your pocket. Alright, so there you have it. 1996 D Jefferson nickels might not be the most glamorous coins in your collection, but they do have some potential to be worth more than face value if you happen to have one in great condition. And hey, even if you don't, it's always worth checking your change because you never know what could be hiding in that handful of coins. Have you ever come across a coin, just chilling in your pocket or change jar, and wondered, is this thing worth anything? Well, today we're diving into a coin that's often overlooked, but could be a hidden gem in your collection, the 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. And trust me, this little nickel has a story to tell. So, if you've got some spare change lying around, keep watching. You might just be sitting on a gold mine, well, nickel mine, to be precise. Alright, let's get into it. The 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, what's the deal with it, and why should you care? First things first, let's talk about what makes the 1998 D Jefferson nickel stand out. It's a standard nickel, but like many coins, it's all about the condition and rarity. The D Mint mark means it was struck in Denver, so this is one of the many nickels that came out of the Denver Mint that year. Now, in most cases, if you're pulling out a run-of-the-mill 1998 D Jefferson nickel, it's not going to be worth a whole lot. We're talking about a nickel's face value, a whopping 5 cents. But, and here's where it gets interesting, if you're lucky enough to have a well-preserved version of this coin, you could have something more valuable on your hands. Here's the thing, the 1998 D nickel isn't rare in the traditional sense, there were tons of them made. In fact, millions were produced. However, the value doesn't just come from how many were made, but how many are still in really good condition. Coins like this, when they're pristine, can fetch more than just their 5-cent face value. we're talking anywhere from 10 cents to 50 cents, depending on how sharp the details are and whether it's in mint state. But wait, the plot thickens. There are actually some special varieties of the 1998 D nickel that are worth more. For example, if your coin has a double die or some noticeable errors, that could really boost its value. And let me tell you, finding a double die error is like finding a unicorn in your change jar. It's rare, but it happens, and here's a quick personal story. I once found a coin that looked just like any other nickel, but it had this weird mark on it. I thought, it's probably just worn down. But after some research, I discovered it was actually a minor error coin. Not worth a fortune, but it taught me a valuable lesson: always check your change. You never know what could be hiding in plain sight. Now, the really interesting part: if your 1998 D nickel is in perfect condition, like mint state, MS 65 or higher, it could be worth more than a few bucks. Yes, really. But don't expect to retire off it. I mean, you're not going to sell your 1998 D for hundreds of dollars unless it's got some major rarity going on, but it could still fetch you a nice little profit. So, how do you figure out if your 1998 D nickel is worth more than the usual 5 cents? Easy. You'll need to look closely. You're checking for things like wear and tear, scratches, or discoloration. A coin that's been in a drawer for 20 plus years might not be in the best shape. But a coin that looks like it just came out of the mint could be your ticket to a higher price. So, there you have it, the 1998 D Jefferson nickel. It's not necessarily the holy grail of coins, but with the right condition or error, it could be a bit more valuable than you think. And hey, even if it's just worth a few extra cents, it's still pretty cool to know that your pocket change has the potential to bring in some extra cash. Before I let you go, here's my final tip: don't just let your change sit there. Take a few minutes to look through your coins. You never know when you'll discover a hidden treasure, like that time I found a genuinely cool error coin. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks on coins worth money. I've got tons of advice to help you build a collection, and who knows, your next coin could be the one that makes you a coin expert.